Hey guys, it's me again, Barry, with Barry's 8-Track and Classic Car Radio Repair. And today it almost feels like I'm on a first date with a really hot chick because I am demonstrating a Technics RS-858 4-channel 8-track recording deck. As you might know by now, if you've been following my videos and digging my website, this is the one that I consider the safest and wisest investment in a 4-channel machine. And the reason for that is because this uses almost all generic parts that you can still get today. Your common transistors, if there's any integrated circuits in there, they're still available. The motor's easy to replace. The head's not one of these special crazy kind of heads that can be replaced. Pretty much everything on this machine can be replaced or fixed, after some 40 years or so, as opposed to, say, Akai's. If you lose a preamp chip in an Akai unit, you're going to have another tape deck on hand to get a part from. That's the only way you're going to find a preamp chip for some of the Akai decks. The Willensex, they were really cool decks too, but none of them record in quad mode. There's a couple models that will play in quad mode but won't record. This will record and play in quad mode, your Technics RS-858. And there is a few variations on the RS-858. There's an RS-58 US, which presumably, of course, is for the United States. There's just a straight RS-858, not sure what that means. There's an RS-858 DUS, and that, I believe, means that that unit has a DC motor as opposed to an AC motor, which is on some of the other decks. Now, I don't know which one is the newer deck. My job is to get in there and fix what's wrong. I don't really keep too good track of who made what, or what company bought out whom, or anything like that. But I do know that the RS-858 is a very good deck. It's my absolute favorite deck, and so it's a great pleasure to test this thing out. Okay, I'll quit blabbing. This is from Guido in Lamplugh, England. This deck comes from halfway around the world, and it's going back halfway around the world. So let's go ahead and make sure that everything works before we send this thing all the way back there. We've got some Bonanza guitars on deck, and just one more thing I'll explain on this deck is this is one of few decks that, number one, have an individual, that the recording level controls also function as the output level controls. That's a very handy feature to have, especially with 8-track tapes, who can have uneven volume on the tracks and stuff like that. And then, as I mentioned before, this will record and play in 4-channel mode. In stereo mode, you get all 4 speakers, but only these 2 controls work because you've only got the 2 tracks that are being divided between the 4 speakers. And then, of course, in 4-channel mode, all these controls will function both in record and playback mode. So let's have some fun. Let's pop in some stereo Bonanza guitars. Oops. Just a few little last minute adjustments here to my meters. Not to the deck. The deck is fine. It's my monitoring equipment that needs a little tweaking. I won't worry about it right now. Let's just go ahead and we're going to make sure we've got output on all 4 channels. Making note that my meters are a little bit out of adjustment. Okay, so we're going to switch tracks a bunch of times. Probably turn that down a bit. Okay, that low meter is bugging me a little bit. I'm going to have to adjust that real quick. It'll just take a moment. I am so sorry. Okay, that's quite a bit better. So let's keep running through some track changes here. Okay, I had the auto eject set. Didn't mean to do that. And I'm going to give this 2-4 channel just a quick little workout there. Okay, more track changes. Okay, we're at the end of a song there, so it's either going to switch tracks or it's going to move on to the next song on that same track. Okay, next song. Okay, as you can see in stereo mode, the left output level controls both the front and the rear, since they're both processing the same signal. The same with the right output level control. So let's go ahead and pop a quad tape in there, eject this tape, and we've got some Danny Davis and the Nashville Brass. This is a quad tape. We're going to switch it to 4-channel mode. And of course, you're not going to hear equal output on all 4 sides, or even on any 2 sides necessarily with a quad tape, because that's the whole idea behind quad. So as you can see, we do have output on all 4 channels at various times. There's a guitar coming in on the left rear. Some horns on the right rear. Okay, switch tracks. And of course, there's only 2 programs. There's only 2 programs on a quad tape, so we press it after 2, and it just goes back to 1. Yeah, I hadn't given this thing a... I was so excited to get to the video on this thing that I didn't really give it a good workout after I did the servicing before I put the camera on it, so that explains why the 4-channel program switching was a little bulky there. I just had to clean a couple of these switches here, give them a little bit more of a workout. There we go. One thing I had forgotten about, on the RS-858, the manual track change, you have to press it lightly. Because that little button there's a lot that goes on behind that button. So you have to be kind of touchy with it. As you can see, if I press it lightly, it works every single time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. But if I hit it hard, it's not changing. Let's hit it soft. And now it's changing. It's working itself back in. Okay, so now we'll just let it play for a little while, and that'll pretty much complete the test. There's not a whole lot else to test on this. We got a cool auto eject thing that I'll demonstrate. Well, that's not very lively. Let's go ahead and move to something more exciting. Yeah, that's a little bit more like it. Okay, I'm going to set it to pan eject. And after it finishes playing the last program, it should eject it. So let's simulate that. There we go. after I finish the last program and ejected. Okay, so we've demonstrated the everything's working. We've got the eject, fast forward, pause. We'll just real quick make sure the fast forward works just for fun. Although I don't recommend using fast forward or pause. Okay, let's hit fast forward. Okay, I can see that the motor's speeding up. The audio is muting. Take a few seconds for the audio to come back. There's the audio. Okay, pause. Okay. And then manually eject. And there we are. Okay, we are good. Everything's ready to go. She's ready to go back to the customer halfway across the world. And I'm ready to have supper. Ha! I'm Barry with Barry's 8-Track and Classic Car Radio Repair. Needless to say, if you have an 8-track player either for home or for car use in need of service, you can reach me at 928-533-9666. I also do FM conversions on classic car AM radios. I can add Bluetooth, USB reader. Now I can add digital capability for the hot new digital stations that are coming around. And you just never know what else I'm going to be capable of by the time you get around to sending your unit in. So my website's in the description below. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll see you next time.